Bruxelles,
Paris,
Madrid.
Artificial intelligence is playing an increasingly important role in all areas of our lives. Thanks to its democratization, it is transforming the way we produce goods, work, conduct research, and learn. Schools and universities are no exception, of course, and whether a conscious choice or not, AI now occupies a central place in the lives of learners and teachers alike. This raises a multitude of questions, though. What impact will AI have on the intellectual development of future generations? What will the role of teachers be? We explore these and other questions in this episode. Generative AI, which basically creates content for you, has become really popular. There's no EU-wide data, but surveys suggest that between 60 and 80% of students use it, depending on the country and level of education. Kostas Karpouzis, a lecturer in media and communication studies at Pantheon University in Athens, explains what this level of AI use in students means.
Essentially, they use tools like ChatGPT to complete their assignments, to put it simply, without having to do the work themselves. And this, naturally, has very negative consequences, both for the quality of the work they produce and for their own learning process, their maturity, if you will, and their ability to acquire real knowledge.
To sum up, chances are high that students end up losing on all fronts. Indeed, those school and university teachers interviewed by our network say that they can easily spot when Gen AI has been used. One reason for this is that all the answers are essentially identical. Another is that teachers usually know their students' strengths and weaknesses. Letting a machine do your homework or write your essays just goes against all basic ideas of education and personal growth, and it's something all students need to understand, as well as learners and users of Gen AI. Everyone must be fully aware of the potential impact of AI on your creativity and intellect. With so many young learners using these tools, the only way to stop AI having a bad effect on intellectual development is not to ban it, but to learn how to use it in the best way. Here's Paulius Sungaila, a biology professor from Lithuania, on this.
We need to use artificial intelligence in a conscious, ethical, and creative way. We need to start actively raising awareness among school teachers who work with pupils and among pupils themselves, perhaps even by creating a school subject on artificial intelligence and the risks, dangers, and benefits of using it.
If we can make the most of AI tools in the classroom, we can ensure that they support rather than hinder education. To achieve this, pupils and teachers would need to undergo AI training as part of the school curriculum. Bastien Mas represents ClassCode, a group of organizations from the education and digital sectors. He's also involved in GREA, a French government project on AI in education. Here's what he thinks about which skills would need to be developed through this training.
There are technical skills on the one hand, because AI tools are tools. So you have to learn how to master them, how they work, what they can do, what they can't do. And then there are the more general skills, which aren't necessarily new skills, but rather a rejigging of the importance of existing skills. Students are faced with tools that speak better than they do, that can provide sources, that can justify themselves, that seem confident. So for a secondary school pupil, going up against ChatGPT is complicated because it has a good level of expression. It has sources, and there is even confidence in the way the AI-generated content is written. Therefore, it is necessary to properly grasp the concept of critical thinking and to gain experience.
21st century skills are a set of abilities that are considered crucial for success in today's world. People often call these skills the 4 C's: creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. The latter, critical thinking, seems to be the go-to phrase for experts and educators when it comes to getting the hang of AI. Gen AI is definitely a hit with learners, but it's a bit unreliable and unstable. It's not like a reference object, like a calculator, where the results will always be the same. The results will change over time and depending on how the prompt is formulated. In addition, AI is extremely self-assured, adds Mas, and this can phase its less experienced users. Mas concludes that kids under 13 shouldn't be exposed to Gen AI. Psychologist and lecturer Sevgihan Eubova from the University of Shumen in Bulgaria broadly agrees.
Няма как веднага да започнеш да мислиш.
You don't just start thinking critically right away. The mind needs time to evolve and develop. In children, this development happens through experience and through the senses. A person must reach a certain stage of cognitive maturity to be able to ask the right questions.
Asking a good question means understanding how best to phrase it and critically analyzing the terms and nuances of the subject. Basically, it's all about being able to think critically. The other C's, creativity, communication and collaboration, are also expected to become more important in the future. Let's listen to Alex Molureanu from Ascendia, co-founder and marketing director of Ascendia, a company that's in the European Commission's expert group on digital educational content. He believes that collaboration is likely to play a key role in tomorrow's education model.
I believe we are rapidly moving towards soft skills, towards the ability to collaborate based on the information we receive and to achieve tangible results. This means there will probably be a greater focus on team objectives, including at school, than on individual learning objectives. This would make sense because the future evolution of society will likely depend a great deal on our ability to collaborate effectively and quickly in order to build anything.
And when it comes to creativity, our Greek expert Kostas Karpouzis explained why it'll be important to keep encouraging and developing students' creativity in all forms.
This has to do with the synthesis of knowledge, the production of new knowledge, and with creativity, not only in the artistic sense, but also in terms of generating new ways of solving problems. Climate change, mobility, anything that concerns society, really. We need to focus on this and let artificial intelligence handle the tasks it truly excels in. That is, repetitive tasks, and tasks that involve data analysis and processing.
Still, not all teachers agree that AI will revolutionize education in tomorrow's Europe. Miguel Herdade, a freelance education expert and researcher, believes that it is not possible to develop these so-called C skills, in particular critical thinking, without a strong factual knowledge base. For him, there's only one way of developing this, the old-school way.
It will be more important than ever to memorize and learn about the rivers of Portugal and the kings of Portugal, and this for a very simple reason. Because if we do not have substantive knowledge, we will not know what questions to ask. We won't be able to analyze the information we are given with a critical mind and in an informed way, will we? And so, all these skills, which are often said to be important for the future, cannot exist without a very solid knowledge base. And what we know today is that, in order to have a very solid knowledge base, there is no shortcut to good old-fashioned cramming.
There are other reasons why experts believe traditional teaching should not be discontinued. Luxembourgish school teacher Vera Dockendorf cites a few more.
The exchanges we have, the texts we select, the class discussions. All of this is an integral part of our work and can never be replaced by a screen. Handwriting, the learning process itself, fosters much deeper connections than constant reading in front of a screen. Not to mention that pupils already spend a lot of their free time in front of a screen.
She's not alone either in calling for schools to be places where pupils can disconnect, at least occasionally. Whatever your thoughts on AI in education, there's a general consensus that it needs to feature in the curriculum somehow. But not all teachers are on the same page. Some say that with so many different tasks already on their plates, adding in artificial intelligence in the classroom is a huge challenge for schools. With these challenges in mind, Alex Molureanu, our Romanian expert on digital education, stresses the need to adequately support and train our teachers.
I think we first need to talk about teachers, and only then about learners. To begin with, we should create a support framework for teachers. They should receive continuous training, be well paid, and be connected to outcomes, which is difficult in education, because we know returns on investment in education are slow to come.
But Jürgen Precht, a professor at Stuttgart Media University and founder of the Institute for Applied Narrative Research, thinks teachers might actually welcome the arrival of AI.
AI can enable individualized learning, take some of the burden off teachers, and offer diagnostic and adaptive support. AI thus offers new tools for teaching, administration, and testing, and is already in use in many schools.
It's true that AI can help teachers in a number of ways. For example, it can help with lesson planning and automate administrative tasks like filling out forms, data entry, and compliance reporting. It can assess and record student progress by tracking their learning and facilitating data visualization. And it can also provide personalized learning opportunities for each student using adaptive learning tools and methods. And finally, generative AI can also assist teachers in preparing, developing, and sharing educational content. But a 2024 OECD report suggests that only 10% of teaching tasks could realistically be automated in the next 15 years. Jürgen Precht concurs.
I assume that artificial intelligence will never replace traditional teachers, human teachers. At least not completely, because good education still requires social interaction, pedagogical judgment, the teaching of human values, and supervision. AI alone cannot reliably handle this. Practical school tasks such as class management, emotional support, and critical discussions remain core human tasks.
A final point. Using AI in schools might lead to questions about human rights and data protection. And this is because it could result in the creation of a lot of data about students' academic progress. This data could show a learner's weaknesses, and therefore it could potentially affect their future academic and professional path. And on this last critical thought, I'll wrap up for today. Thank you for listening, and I'd like to thank as well Nikos and Mariana, my colleagues at Sky Radio in Greece, Mart at Kuku Radio in Estonia, Mart at Kuku Radio in Estonia, Augustie at Lithuania's Žinių Radijas, Stoyan at Bulgarian National Radio, Zina at AMS in Germany, Jean-Claude at Luxembourgish 100,7, Adelina at Radio Romania, Alejandre at Radio Renascença in Portugal, Charlotte at Radio in France, Julia at Milan's Radio 24, and Aitana at S Radio Castilla y León. Make sure to come back next week for a new episode on public administration and AI. What changes can we expect from the introduction of AI in our public administrations?